next part is chapter 7, moving into design. So after, we did planning, analysis, now, designing. So in analysis, requirement analysis, use case, process modeling, and data modeling. These are the four important things. Now, so transition from requirements to design. So these are the four things that we are going to cover in this chapter. And system acquisition strategy, influence on acquisition strategy, selecting and acquisition strategies.
I have
So,
a question about the assignments.
yeah, go ahead.
So for assignment 6, that mini case 2 was in the assignment for the assignment we just did.
Mhm. So mini case, this is second mini case,
So is it asking a different question?
Is it asking okay, just a minute.
I think what it was the homework's on the chapter 5 still, and we're just.
I
What is
think
it?
the
Oh,
voice is breaking. Just let me. So
So like compare assignment 5 to assignment 6.
just a minute. Let me. I think I. mm, Assignment 5. Oh yeah, this is just, this is I just explained the, I came from so this is just you have done, which is so I just explained the, how you have done. This is, oh, I'm just goofed up. Yeah, this is already done, but yeah, so I will put, next assignment. Sorry for that. Just a minute. Hmm. So this is you already done. Oh, this is same. Yeah, I'm going to make, so this is you have already done with 0 level diagram, context level diagram, and, level 1 diagram, DFD. So here we have to put this assignment is exactly the same. Oh yeah. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to make a new assignment for this week. So thank you for asking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we are starting chapter number 7. And chapter number 7 is about so I just explained, how you were required to do context diagram, 0 diagram, 0 level, and 1 level diagram. Now we are going into the third phase, which is design phase, transition. So here we have to have key ideas that system analysis, what the business idea, what the business need is, design part, how to build the system that fulfill that business need, that fulfills the business requirement. So in analysis is basically what is the requirement of the system, how it will work, basically all the requirements, how it will work, how it will bring the value. And design is to translate those into, how those things will fulfill the requirement, fulfill the needs. So all of the logical work from system analysis is converted to the physical things. Key definition here, design phase, describe how to build the system, and that creates system specification that describes all technical details for building the system. So basically it, specify all the technical aspects. System specification, final deliverable from design phase, conveys exactly what system that develop team will implement during the implementation phase. So it exactly, describe the technical and what needs to be done in order to build the system. These are the steps in order to develop or design the system. So first thing, whether you are going to make or buy, this is a most important question that comes in front of the people, because many organizations, they don't deal with IT. Let's say Costco is mostly in retail, they are in retail, but do they develop their own system? No, mostly, Costco, they buy or they hire someone to do that job. So most of the outsourcing is happening in this. So make or buy decision or outsource is an important part. Walmart has big, IT center in Silicon Valley. 5,000-6,000 developers are there. So Walmart has all, big IT with them. But still, Walmart also buy the IT. They outsource the IT. Amazon has a big IT team, thousands of people in India, here and there, everywhere. So basically, in designing phase steps, first step is to, what do we need to do? Do we need to buy this system? Do we need to outsource this system? Or do we need to make ourselves? So if we are not in a business, like we are in manufacturing, we are in different other businesses, so what is appropriate? We can't develop IT in order to do all the things. Then they buy it. So this is the very first steps in order to decide what do we need to do. And I would like to tell, most of the ERP, those are enterprise resource planning, system, those are mostly custom built, or you can say those are acquired, or those are, um, outsourced from third party vendors from different part, like, most of the India. So for example, if any organization wants to implement an ERP or want to do, they just go to Indian partner or Indian company. Indian company take care of the, development, or Indian company has already Oracle, SAP, ERP, they customize based on the requirement of the any organization in USA, Europe, or anywhere. So that is an interesting thing, and also after that, this this work is normally done offshoring. Outsourcing means they don't come here, they do offshoring, means they do everything from India. They just come and they just, uh, plant or implement those things here, but they don't, all the designing development phase is done offshoring, and maintenance is also done offshoring. Only few members of the teams normally are on location or on site. Otherwise, rest of the team normally done, normally do from outside of the country. In case, because one of my student who has done PhD on offshoring ERP, and he was a vice president of top IT company, and he said he did entire PhD on offshoring ERP implementation. So all the companies you name, like Fortune 1000 companies, they mostly, outsource. That is also offshoring. That can cut a lot of cost. That can save a lot of cost. So determine the technological architecture for the system. So after, making this decision what we need to do, make, buy, or outsource. The second step is determine the technical architecture for the system. How technical, it will look like. Security concern has to be addressed. Political, economic aspect, or political, cultural aspects. So this is another important thing that has to be addressed. So, for example, cultural and political and local language, local things. So make hardware and software selection, determine the way that user will interact with system, inference, interference, inputs, output. So basically, have you seen different countries had different keyboard on the system? Like Arabic, keyboard, they have dual language on the keyboard of the computer. Similarly, like different other countries, they had different keyboard and different interaction. The moment you go in UAE or different part of the world, the Google looks different, and all the search will come automatically in Arabic, or it starts from right hand side. Normally the language what we do is left hand side. It starts. So this is user interface is very important, the way user will interact with system. Design the programs for the underlying processes. Design the way data will be stored. Create final deliverables. And so these are the steps in order to design system. System acquisition strategy. Ways to acquire a new system. Custom development built from scratch in house. So my dear friends, if you see this, Eastern Washington University, all the systems are acquired or outsourced from different vendors. We have banner for internal banner system, and that has every other week they have a banner maintenance and other things. Do you think any system that has been developed by EW IT team from scratch? I don't think. Everything is outsourced, everything is acquired, if everything is buy. But none of them nowadays, people don't do, or organization don't do from scratch until they are into this business. So, and then custom development built from scratch in house. This is, I don't think only big companies, those who have big IT staff, big IT department, big IT. For Walmart, they have a IT company that only works for Walmart, that was created by Walmart. They have 5,000 people, almost 5,000. This is, and they only do for system and development for Walmart. However, rest of the companies, so this custom development, purchase software package and possibly customize it. So normally this is happening. They purchase the software and they customize based on the requirement. Like I said about ERP, they buy the ERP that has been customized based on the requirement of the organization. So, or obtain access for, so outsource development to third party who might build system from scratch for us. So normally most of the organization, they ask this. So most of the finance company, for example, they have financial system that you can see the transaction, you can see all the your bank and other knowledge, that is called Finacle. So most of the US companies, they have outsourced the financial system from Indian companies, and they ask them to make some of the from scratch, or some of them purchase software for us, customize and install it. So this is how acquisition or acquiring a new system works. So another thing is custom development, which is, as per requirement, as per, user requirement from the scratch. There are some pros and cons. Get exactly what we want. New system built, so that works with consistently with existing technology and standards. Build and retain technical skills and function knowledge in-house, allows team flexibility and creativity. Unique solution creates for strategic advantage. So this is the pros side, this is con side. Requires significant time and effort, may add to existing backlogs, may require skills we don't have. It is always a costly affair. When you start doing from scratch, it is very costly affair. Often takes more time, certainly because you start from scratch, it takes time. And it has also risk for project failure. Whereas, if you buy something and customize, that is already exist and customize as per your requirement, in that case, risk of project failure is less, some modules, something. But if you do it from the beginning, it is having that risk. Time, cost, purchasing a software, no need to reinvent the wheels for common business needs, tested, proven product, cost saving, time saving, utilize vendor exercise, some customization may be possible. Really a perfect fit. Organizational processes, reliance or vendor for maintenance and future enhancement. So purchasing a software, you can understand what is the benefit and what is the pros and cons. Outsourcing, higher expertise we don't have, may save time and money and lower risk. So outsourcing is as old as Roman Empire, you can say. So you know how this outsourcing word has come, because Roman Empire used to hire the soldiers to fight for, for them. So outsource is, as old as, from Roman Empire, and this outsourcing is very popular in IT nowadays. You are hiring, IT skills, you are hiring outsourcing IT skills, everything is have lower risk, save time and money, and those who have expertise, you are hiring them. Cons, no opportunity to build in-house expertise, certainly because you are hiring them, but you stick on your core and go for more. That means whatever is your core competency, just stick, you don't need to develop IT expertise. Reliance on vendor, future option limited, security, potential loss of confidential information, and performance based on contract terms. So basically, I think those who have attended my MISC 311 World Bank case, World Bank has lost, a lot of security breaches are there because they have third party vendor for that. They outsource the information system, they outsource the, their banking system or from Indian company, and they install the spyware. So their security was compromised. Influence on acquisition strategy. How do we select when to use custom development, when to use a package system, when to use outsourcing? So business needs, in-house experience, project skill, project management, time frame. So these are the factors. And you can make a decision based on that. So when to use custom development, the business need is unique. In-house function and technical expertise exist. There's a desire to build in-house skills. The project has highly skilled project manager and proven methodology. the time frame is flexible. In this case, you can do for custom development. When to use the package system? Business need is a common. In-house functional expertise exist. Skills are not strategic, and not strategic. The project has a project manager who can coordinate vendors' effort. The time frame is short. When to use outsourcing? The business needs is not core to the business. In-house functional or technical expertise experience does not exist. The decision to outsource is a strategic decision. The project has a highly skilled project manager at the level of organization. The time frame is short or flexible. So these are the three scenario. You can check, what is your need, what is your in-house experience, what is your project skills, what is your project manager, project management skills and time frame. Based on that, you can select these. So these things outline. So this is selecting an acquisition strategy. Developing our options. So need to collect information. What tools, technologies are needed for custom development project? What vendors make product that address the project need? What service provider would be able to build the application if outsourced? So these three questions are important before you can go for request for proposal for this scenario to obtain proposal from vendor, developer, or service providers. And once upon the proposals you received, then you can make your decision, explaining the system to be built and criteria for selecting among applicant. Request for information, shorter or less detailed version that request for proposal for a small project. Ask for how much budget. Request for quote. What is the price they will be charging for developing or developing or providing services. So this is proposal, information, and quote or price. This is three things that you need to ask from the vendors or service providers or developers. What should be there in request for proposal content? A description of desired system that you need, a spatial technical needs or circumstances, evaluation criteria, instruction on how to respond, desired schedule, other information that will help the submitter to make a more complete or accurate proposal. Developing an alternative matrix. You can have alternative matrix to decide upon. Combine several feasibility analysis into one matrix, include technical, economic, organizational feasibility. So, when system is to develop, these feasibilities are very important. You can assign the weight to indicate the relevant importance. So for example, for your system, let's say you have technical, economic, organizational feasibility. For you, economic is 40%, technical is 30%, and organizational is 30%. Put together 100%. So you can assign the weight and you can check, you can evaluate where, based on each criteria, how the vendor or developer or service provider is coming. And based on that, you can select who is going to be the best. Assign a score to indicate how well the alternative meets the criteria. So look into this. So here, technical issues, economic issues, organizational issues, total is 100%, criteria 120, 10, 10, technical is 40%, economics 35%, and organizational is 25. So this is, and score 1 to 5, you can score 1 to 5, criteria 1 to 5. So here in first part 5, second criteria 3, 2, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, and look into the weighted score. 5 multiplied by 220, which is 100, 10 multiplied by 3, 330, 10 multiplied by 2, and this way, this when, you know, this is coming 350. So first criteria, custom application using Visual Basic.net. The second alternative, custom application using Java, and score 1 to 5. These are the criterias. The weighted score, the total is coming 270. The third aspect, alternative package software product, ABC. So in this case, you are getting 360 points. What would you like to do? Certainly you go for the packaged software product ABC, because here you have total weight more than the VB.net or using Java development. So this is the way in order to select the right option. Tuning source alternatives matrix here, you know, relative importance. Again, these weightages are given. Develop desired in-house skills, integrate. So again, these skills, you know, organization, economic, technical, they are divided into, you know, different pieces. Solve with me here, you know, you can see score 1 to 5, alternate 2 wave SOP, this is, you know, 3, alternate 3 SOP and go. And these are the criteria and these are the relevant scores. Based on that, you know, alternative 1 is getting 290, alternative 2 is getting 430, alternative 3 is getting 325. So the second option is best option, which is WebSOP. So this is, you know, you can develop the matrix or, you know, based on requirement, and then we can, this is the way to select a vendor. This is the way to select, you know, what method, what approach you are going to follow. So this is chapter number 7. And now I'm going to also cover chapter number 8. Any question related to chapter number 7? Planning, and now we are coming. So architecture design, plans for how the system will be distributed across computers and what hardware software will be used for each computer. So this is, you know, architecture design. Hardware and software specification, described hardware and software components in detail to add those responsible for purchasing those products. Elements for architecture design, creating architecture design, hardware and software specification. So first part is elements. What is the objective of architecture design? Assign the software components of the information system to the hardware device of the system in the most advantageous way. The major architecture components of any system are the software and hardware. What are the components? Data storage, data access logic, application logic, presentation logic. So this is, software system can be divided into 4 basic functions: data, data storage, data access logic, application logic, and presentation logic. what is data access logic? The processing required to access the stored data. Application logic, the logic documented in the DFDs, use cases and functional requirements. Presentation, the display of information to user and acceptance of the user command. Architectural components, the three primary hardware components includes client computers, servers, and networks. So what is client computers? Input output device employed by users like PC, laptop, handheld mobile devices, smartphones. Servers, larger multi-user computers used to store software and data. Connect the computers, networks. Architecture types, client server, server-based, mobile application. So client server architecture part. So client server architecture that balance the processing between client devices and server devices. Therefore, it is client server architecture. Client devices like, laptop, mobile, smart devices, and server, which, has multi-user computer, store software and data. Clients are responsible for presentation logic, and the server are responsible for data access logic and data storage. Application logic location varies depending on the client server configuration chosen. What are the benefits? And these are some of the benefits of client server. It is scalable, that is important. Can support different types of client and servers through middleware. The presentation logic, the application logic, and data processing logic can be independent, and if server fails, only the application requiring that server are affected. Highly reliable in this case. Client server tiers. There are many ways in which application logic can be partitioned between the client side and the server side. So look into this two-tiered client server. So look into this. Thick client, most of the application logic of the client side, and thin client, little application logic on the client side. More shifted to the server side. So here you can see the client side is, handle, these are the client, devices. Here on this server, handles access logic, handles data storage. So thick client, client means application logic on the client side, where thin in most of the shifted to the server side. Three-tiered client server. Here you can see the client parts, application server, and database server. So that is a specialized server, one for application logic, one for database task. So this is three-tiered client server. One is client services, client devices, application server, and database server. N-tiered client server, you can see, because more than 2 N, so that that's why we are calling N, because you can have more than 2. Add a specified server, one on web related, one is business web related business logic, one is application logic, one for database task. Common in today web-based e-commerce system. So basically web server, application server, and database server. So these are the 3 servers, and then client devices on this side. Therefore, this is called N-tiered client servers. Adding tiers in architecture, you can add, multiple, but there is an advantage, there is disadvantage. So what is the disadvantage? More tier places higher load on the network. So since these all computers, how these servers are connected through network, so it places lot of load on the network. More difficult to implement since the server must communicate effectively and in cardinal way. All the servers must communicate effectively and cardinal way. So these are the two disadvantages. What are the advantages? Modular business logic components are shareable across application. Separating the processing among multiple servers make it possible to balance the server loads. So when you have more servers, it will balance the server load effectively and efficiently. So this is the advantage and disadvantage. Here, server-based architecture, zero client used today in virtual desktop infrastructure. So terminal server, which has handles presentation logic, application logic, data access logic, and so this is happening in server-based architecture. Mobile application architecture, rich client, thin web-based client, rich internet application, involves processing on the mobile devices using its resources, presentation logics, business logic, and data access logic on the client side. Thin web-based client, business and data access logic on the server side, always connected to the server. And this browses based use some technology or client device to provide a rich user interface. Mobile application options, native application, those are written to run a specific device with a specific operating system. Cross-platform, developed in based web technologies, JavaScript, HTML, and uses the framework to deploy multiple devices. Mobile web application, browser-based, platform independent, doesn't use the hardware software on the device. So these are the mobile application options. Advances in architecture configuration. Nowadays, virtualization, cloud computing, these are the two important areas. Advances in hardware, software, and networking have given rise to number of new architecture options. Virtualization, creation of virtual device or resources, computing resources obtained as a service. So, cloud computing, what is cloud computing and how it is helping us. What is the virtualization of everything. Now is taking virtual lab, you can see Eastern Washington University softwares you can access from your home using virtual lab. So server virtualization involve partitioning a physical server into smaller virtual server. Storage virtualization involves combining multiple network storage devices into what appears to be single storage devices. So cloud computing, that everything from computing power to computing infrastructure, application, business process to personal collaboration can be delivered as a service where and whenever needed. So nowadays, software as a service, different things as a service, which is because of cloud computing. Hardware as a service, networking as a service, storage as a service. So basically, we use storage, cloud storage that we get from different drives, combining to deliver. So basically, this is cloud computing. Advantage of cloud computing: elasticity. that can resource allocated can be increased or decreased quickly based on demand. So basically, you can increase your Google Drive, you can increase your, G Drive or whatever drive. Cloud customer can obtain cloud resources in a straightforward fashion. So you pay and get, straight. Cloud service typically have a standardized API. Customers are billed for resources as they, are used. Nowadays, Gmail is also charging. So basically, I'm paying almost $20 a year for using my Gmail. So nowadays, emails, everything, uh, you can buy, storage based on requirement. You can pay as per, requirement. Comparing architecture options. So you have different different architecture options, which is better how you can. Most systems are built to use existing infrastructure in the organization. And that's so often the current infrastructure restricts the choice of architecture. Each of the architecture discussed has its own strength and weakness. So basically, it is a common law that everything has a strength and weakness. Client server architectures are strongly favored on the basis of cost infrastructure. So nowadays, cost of infrastructure is very important for the organization. Therefore, they are going cloud. Let's say, suppose you want to use any software that has been subscribed by Eastern Washington University, either that is available on Eastern Washington University machines, or you can, being a student, you can use through cloud because of the cost, So cost is, cost of infrastructure is most important. Companies are cutting the cost, and same time they want to have better IT infrastructure. So cloud computing deserves consideration today. Therefore, we have everything on cloud, and Amazon Web Services are helping, every education institute or every organization to do so. Designing the architecture. This is technical environment requirements driven by business requirements often define the application architecture. If not, other non-functional requirements become important. Selecting an architecture design. So here, applying non-functional requirements. Lower cost often used to justify choice of, so cost is a major factor when you decide the architecture. Recommended selection process that expand non-functional requirement details. Base architecture selection on the detailed non-functional requirement, operational performance, security, cultural, politics. So these are the 4 important areas here. Operational requirement, technical environment, system integration, portability, maintainability. Technical, spatial hardware, software, network requirements imposed by business requirements. So this is, imposed by business, that certain hardware, certain software, this is hardware, this is software, this kind of networking. An example is all office location have always on network connection, permitting real-time database updates. System integration, the extent to which the system will operate with other system. The system will read and write to main inventory databases. Portability, the extent to which the system will need to operate in other environment. The system must operate with mobile devices, Android and iOS. Expected business changes to which the system should be able to adopt. The system must accommodate new manufacturing plants. Performance requirements, so this is, speed, capacity, availability, and reliability. So the time within which the system must perform its function. Network transaction response time less than 4 seconds. Total and peak number of users and volume of the data expected maximum 2000 simultaneously users at a peak user time. Think about the capacity of Amazon during Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving or Black Friday sale. This is probably 2 million. Availability and reliability, 99% uptime performance. Basically, most of the system, Amazon.com is 99.999 is availability, or almost 99.109s. Extent to which the system will be available to the user and the permissible failure rate due to errors. Cultural political requirements, multilingual customization, making unstated norms explicit, legal. The language system user will need. The system will operate in English, French, Spanish, Arabic. A specification of what aspect of the system can be changed by local users. Country managers will be able to define new fields in the product database to capture country specific information. So making unstated norms explicitly stating assumptions that differ from country to country. All weight will be stated in pounds and kilograms. Legal, the laws and regulation that impose system requirements. Thus, personal computer information cannot be transferred from European Union countries to US. Personal customer information cannot be exchanged between different, Implication of non-functional requirements for architecture design. Here, operational, performance, security, cultural, political, and these are the things. So, check or non-check, what you need, what you don't need. So this is the way, we can see, the requirements, operational, performance, security, and cultural related. Outline hardware and software application. Hardware software specification purpose used if new hardware or software must be purchased. Communicated projects needs. Actual acquisition of hardware may be done by purchasing department, especially in larger firms. So we have in Eastern, we have IT team who does everything. This is hardware sample, a hardware software specification sample. Operating system, what do we need? For a standard client Windows 7, a standard web server Linux, a standard application server Linux, a standard database server Linux, a special software Real Audio, Apache, Java, Oracle, Adobe Acrobat Reader, hardware 500 GB disk drive, Intel Core, this processor, 22-inch LCD monitor, network, always on board band broadband preferred, dial-up 57 kbps, Wi-Fi. So a standard 500 GB disk drive, quad core, dual 100 Mbps Ethernet, a standard application server 500 GB disk drive, 6-core Xeon, 1200 Mbps Ethernet, standard database server, and hardware 1 terabyte of disk drive, RAID, 8-core Xeon, 1200 Mbps Ethernet. So, uh, So, this week I'm just going to post the assignment. This is about chapter number 8. 7 and 8 we have both covered. And, I'm going to do the assignment. I think I was under impression that I'm doing previous chapter or something, and that's how. So, you have any question related to architecture design, requirement analysis, requirement? So this is the beginning of next phase, which is a designing phase. If you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm just going to end the class, and I will be available on Thursday, and I'm going to do the assignment tonight. If no, I would like to say bye-bye. Have a nice day. Have a nice week ahead.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you. I'm just going to, it will be chapter 7 and 8. Eric, it will be, chapter 7 and 8. Yes.